me.
But like really a lot more games kind of come out like next Friday. Right? You have Tales of Arise next Friday, which I'm not saying that's the game you're going to buy, but I'm saying like that's kind of a big one.
Right.
You have Lost in Random next Friday. And then like that Tuesday is Deathloop.
Lost in Random. That was the roll dice.
That's the roll dice,
game,
but I
right?
think that's that's a Game Pass game, I think.
Okay.
So I mean,
might get that one.
There's some games that are coming out that like are right on the cusp of coming. Right. It's just we're almost done with this drought, and then we're gonna be like in game after game after game. But it's like right now we're just like waiting. So
yeah, for sure. If this is your first time joining us on this podcast, we appreciate you for clicking on the video. If this is your consecutive time of joining us, then you already in our hearts. So we always appreciate you. If you haven't yet, subscribe, click the like button. That lets us know that you're there. But Ray, why don't you go ahead and give us the quick shots, man?
All right, your quick shots this week. The first quick shot, it's a little old, and our audience may already know this, but I thought it was interesting when I found out.
Okay.
COD added a Among Us mode to their multiplayer game system.
Really?
They added a new mode called Double Agent.
Okay.
And it's basically Among Us.
All right.
And so everyone's in the lobby, and you're all talking, and they drop you on any of their multiplayer maps. So it's not like a special map. They just drop you in a multiplayer map. And like two of you are a double agent.
Okay.
And right when you fall in, it tells you what you are. And then like you run around and you turn things on in the world, kind of like Among Us.
Yeah.
And then you shoot people if you're a double agent, if you're an imposter. But there is no like.
Do you have silencers?
It's a little different. No, I don't think so. But it isn't like Among Us in the sense where if you kill somebody and it's discovered, like a conference call happens. Yeah. You just keep playing.
Oh, okay.
So everyone's just talking on the mic continually. So you might go like, "Oh, I found Joe's dead over here," and then like you just keep playing.
So, but how does that work with like the communication, like the comms? Like when you die, can you still talk?
No, if you die, you can't talk.
So comms are down for you once
if you die, comms are down.
Okay.
Yeah, and everyone has a gun. So like, let's say like you're running around and you're the imposter, and I see you backstab Joe.
Yeah.
And I see it. I can just kill you now.
Oh, okay.
Like it doesn't have to be like a vote system.
Right.
You don't go to a communication. Let's all cast a vote, and try to convince everybody.
If you
I can just kill you. Down. I don't have to convince anyone.
I can just kill you. If you suck at shooting, I can still kill you.
Yes. And if you see me shooting at you, you turn around, you can take me out.
I got to dip.
Yeah. So it kind of ends up turning, because I watched some games, it kind of ends up turning into like more like a 2v8.
Mayhem or
it's like a 2v8 game because everyone just kind of starts shooting at each other.
It's like, you look weird, man.
Yeah, you look weird. Or
why
like,
you tweaking like that?
Yeah. Or like, you might be like walking in this window and you see a guy in front of you and there's a car in your way.
Yeah.
So you think no one sees you and you shoot somebody because you're the imposter.
Okay.
But like on the other side of the car, they have a better vantage point and they just saw you do that.
Yeah.
And then they like kill you dead. It's like.
So that actually might be kind of fun to play around with.
It is fun. It's quicker paced than Among Us, right?
Right.
Because like you don't have to wait. If I saw you do something, I could just take care of my own hands.
Right.
I don't got to convince y'all to join on board with me.
But if there's multiples and somebody else just saw you gun down somebody, does it notify you that that person that got gunned down was a double agent?
Yeah. Like so, you'll be like screaming, "Oh, I just saw Joe kill somebody! Kill him!" When you shoot him, but if someone sees you, they might think that you're a double agent.
Yeah, because you can get shot up too because you was squeezing the trigger.
There's no like notifications. Everyone's just free for all.
Yeah,
the game will stop when the imposters die or all the agents die.
That's mayhem.
So yeah, it's pretty funny, dude.
Okay, we might have to try that one.
Yeah.
You might want to get.
I mean, you have Cold War. You have to have Cold War to play it. Right?
Okay, I got Cold War.
Yeah. So I thought it was interesting when I saw that.
Yeah.
And like another thing I thought when I saw that, I was like, what does this mean for Among Us? Is COD gonna kill Among Us now?
I hope Among Us is getting paid.
Hope they can survive. Because this is what happens, man. When something's popular, a big dog comes along and just like steals the thunder.
Yeah.
That's what happened with PUBG. That's what happened with Warzone. Now Warzone's like the #1 battle royale, right? So it's just like my first thought was like, does this mean Among Us is toast? I don't know, but I thought that was an interesting piece of news.
Yeah.
A lot of you might know that already, but I didn't. So I was like, really? That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I wonder if Brown knew about that one.
So next up is CD Projekt Red has hired some Cyberpunk and Witcher 3 modders to fix the Cyberpunk game.
Right, which is interesting.
Yeah, they're tasked with official mods.
Right.
So they're tasked with creating official mods for the game,
which means actual upgrades,
like actual upgrades that like CD Projekt Red
it
is
better
like
not
approving.
be no mod tab. It better be actual upgrades.
Yeah, it's like real upgrades and then bug fixing.
Okay.
And I mean, this is good news. I think it's good news. I mean, a lot of people might look at this as them like selling out or saying they failed, but in my opinion, like it's just really good news, you know, for that's funny, like that little guy got in here, right? Yeah. But I think it's good news for Cyberpunk. They need the help, dude. Like clearly this game's a mess, you know, and they definitely you know, this might open them up to work on like some DLC and some like other things.
Right.
Other just around the clock bug fixing.
I mean,
maybe these modders can fix it for them.
You would think that. I mean, I've seen some of these mods on for Cyberpunk, and they've done like really good jobs.
Yeah.
So if they're getting hired, you'd feel like they would just take that code and just put it in.
That's what I would think too, and just fix the game already, right?
Easy like adjustment to like make things better.
I don't know if that's what they're going to do, but yeah, I was thinking that too. You would think, okay, we're just going to make it official now.
Right.
And just make it a patch for the game.
Right. Yeah,
but
just
we haven't heard that yet, but that's what I was thinking
I hope that it comes to that.
Me too. I hope so.
Because some of these modders, man, they be putting in like mad work. Like they be really doing, like, I mean, I remember when they were doing like Fallout 76 mods, and they were changing like the entire landscapes to look like lush and beautiful.
The Skyrim mods.
And, like,
have you seen some of the Skyrim
mods? Were looking
it's like
crazy.
Playing through the whole game new again.
Yeah.
Like if you haven't played Skyrim in a long time, like play it and just do lots of mods. It feels like a whole new game, dude.
Yeah, man, they changed the game on it.
Dope.
It's crazy.
So I thought that was interesting little piece of news. The next piece of news that I also found interesting was apparently Microsoft paid $100 million for the Rise of the Tomb Raider 1-year Xbox exclusivity.
Whoa.
Do you remember when they had that Rise of the Tomb Raider exclusive for that 1 year?
Right.
They paid $100 million for that. And so like my first thought here on my notes is, was it worth it? Is it better to just buy up a studio for $100 million? And I mean, we complain a lot about these exclusivities that happen all this time, like with COD exclusivity to PlayStation, and when these little, you know, standalone third-party games get exclusive rights to some of these studios, to some of these platforms. But when you're offered $100 million, man, how can you say no?
Man, dude.
It makes me also wonder, what did Sony pay to have Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusive to like their console?
That's interesting.
Right,
it
like
says
some of these
it
Square
says
Enix
that
deals.
they did about 18 million copies sold.
18 million?
Yeah, 18 million sales, and this was like reported 4 years ago.
Right.
So I mean,
dude, so
I wonder if it was really lucrative.
For Microsoft. Yeah, I don't know, man. To be honest, I'm not sure.
Square Enix was getting the money either way, right?
See, they just own, or whoever made that game, Crystal Dynamics or whatever.
Yeah, Square Enix was the publishers. So.
Yeah, so you see why Square Enix is like totally trying to negotiate these deals, because they're just Crystal Dynamics like developed the game. Yeah, right. So
I mean,
I was shocked by that. I was like, good
Lord,
Lord,
that's a lot for that.
That's
game.
A huge amount of money. It's just for 1 year too. It's not like they bought the whole exclusivity to it.
Yeah, it's
1
just to
year,
have, like,
for 1 year,
it,
dude.
Yeah.
Like that was a time I think when Microsoft was real desperate for a game. Like they didn't have anything coming out.
Microsoft kind of been.
They're always desperate for a game. I know. Yeah. Like that's always been their biggest issue.
They just have like a couple of like those trusty dusties that like, you know, will come out, and people just seem to gravitate to them. But I think it's just because they're hurting so bad for first party like games or like exclusive games that they just eat them up. They eat the shit out of the damn Gears of Wars and Halos and stuff like that. And it's like
that's all they have, you know.
Really that good.
They're not really that good. They're like 8s.
But y'all eating them shits up like that.
They're good, but they're not great.
Yeah,
you know, like they're not great. Pockets, they're not great games, you know.
Yeah.
And so, that's desperate. $100 million for that.
That's crazy, though.
The next bit of news here is Yeah, kudos to them, right? They got the bag.
They sold the shit out of that.
They got the bag, dude.
Yeah, man.
According to Norman Reedus, a good friend of Hideo Kojima, Death Stranding is supposedly in talks for a sequel.
The main actor.
All right.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say, Stone, does this interest you, or would you rather a whole new game from Kojima? Sony owns the right to Death Stranding, so it's in their best interest to want to make more of these games.
Yeah.
What do you think?
A sequel is technically a new game. Now, granted,
it's not a reboot.
It's not a reboot or a remake, which I'm glad of that. Now, technically, would I want that series to continue? I have no right to really say, right? Because I haven't tried the game yet. So, in my mind, I would be like, fuck no. I wish they had chose like a whole different IP to go with, just give us a whole new IP. But, there's a lot of people that stand behind, what's the damn game's name?
Kojima?
No.
Death Stranding?
Death Stranding, yeah. There's a lot of people that stand behind Death Stranding.
They do. They defend it hard, man. They like it a lot. We've heard it.
So it might be a great thing that there's a sequel to it. I just got to get around to getting my ass on there to play it. You know what I mean? I'm hoping one of these PS Plus days they'll give us that shit for free so I could check it out. But
I was going to do what you said. I was going to go on offer up buy for $14 and do the $10 upgrade.
Right.
That's what I was going to do when that director's cut comes out or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is something we're not going to be able to do for Horizon, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, I mean, I'm more so curious too on this. Is this one of those games that is a sequel? Is it conducive to a sequel? This one almost seemed like a standalone kind of. Yeah, was it open to a sequel?
Yeah.
This almost feels like it was. I haven't played it either, but when you look at it, it almost feels like this is like its unique one story thing.
But at the same time, right? I feel like it's literally just the world. Like the world is like the biggest story, and it's the dude traveling through it or whatever. But the world is what makes it entertaining, I guess. It's kind of like Metal Gear Solid.
He made that for 10 years, 15 years, right?
Yeah, there was many different sequels to Metal Gear Solid.
This might be the same.
It's just another story of the dude, doing whatever.
Another mission, another situation. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like this could keep going on. Dude didn't get fired, I'm assuming, after the job got finished, after his last delivery was done and he was able to sign off.
I don't know how it ends. I'm just saying, when I look at this, I'm like, that's kind of weird. You would think that was just one idea,
a one-off, and
then he would go to do something else. But maybe there's something. Maybe it's open and it's there. I don't know.
I'm sure the story's got to be pretty open.
We'll see how it ends.
End of the day, kicking back and drinking a can of soda or something like that with his feet up. I don't know, but it had to have been something that left it open. He obviously
for them to have room for a sequel, right? Yeah. Right. I mean, that's good for Kojima. I'm glad Sony's interested in it, and I'm sure they would be. Like I said, they own this IP.
Yeah, kudos to Norman Reedus, man. That dude has literally taken the reins of The Walking Dead and ran with it.
Made a lot of.
He made it I don't know how he got so popular. His character
from that one role,
Daryl,
yeah,
or I think it's Daryl. Yeah,
I think it's Daryl. Yeah,
and he just took that position, man, and he started owning all of the damn Walking the Dead games. They just kept making games behind him and making sure his character was included and stuff.
As long as he was in the show, people kept watching. Yeah, he was a carry, man. He carried it,
and he just.
He was a carry for
tons
sure.
of other jobs and doing other movies and stuff. Getting this gig.
He did a great job at that likable redemption kind of story. The bad guy turns good, and he did a good job at doing that. Know, so he just he made a lot of money.
Honestly, it was a lot of great characters within the first.
There was
the first 2 seasons of The Walking Dead.
I agree.
And then they just started to X them all out, and then it was just kind of.
And they had to be careful how many they did that too, because
they did them to all of them.
I know. Even Rick's gone now, right? I don't watch it anymore.
Yeah. But, Rick left a while ago.
Yeah,
but
I remember it was pretty shocker when they killed off Glenn.
Dude. Glenn's death was brutal.
When that happened, I was like, "Wow, he went out that way."
When Glenn died, my wife said, "Fuck this show." I'm done. With
I kind of walked away too after that episode.
She was about done with it. I think after and if you haven't seen
it's repetitive as hell. But
after Carl died, she was just like, "Okay, I really got no reason to watch it."
Yeah,
it was just kind of wild,
Rick was the main guy, right?
Rick was the main guy, but Carl was his son.
Yeah.
And after Carl died, she was just
that's bizarre, man. That's just so bizarre.
How many good characters are you going to kill off on this show? They could not be that expensive to do this
it's
show,
like they
right?
thought as long as they had Rick and Daryl, they're good.
Yeah, but then they got rid of Rick.
I know.
Rick was the carrier.
I know. He was the main
person
glue.
That it started.
He was the primary glue.
They started to Game of Thrones them. You know what I mean? But like, it was weird. Like they prolonged it so long. You know, like Game of Thrones was just like, oh fuck, I thought this show was about this guy, but he just died. It's about these people now.
I've been following this dude this whole season.
Yeah, but now
this was his story,
Rick, and I followed this motherfucker for like 4 seasons, and now
more
he's
than
gone.
that. It
like,
was more seasons than that.
Yeah,
man.
and it's just like damn. And then you trying to bring in the big bad that like off like mad characters.
Well, I mean, we're off on a tangent now, but the problem was they just kept doing the cyclical cycle.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, I want to see them like finally win. I don't know. It got really frustrating.
Yeah.
The last quick shot I have is at DC Fandom, October 16th of this year.
Right.
It's been announced that they're going to be showing Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad gameplay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Suicide Squad.
Gotham Knights is a cross-gen title played on PS4, but Suicide Squad is next-gen only. So I'm really curious about that.
Yeah, and I mean, what we had seen that little bit of the, I think it was like a trailer. Or something,
it was a cool trailer.
Gameplay.
Suicide
but it was dope.
A cool trailer, yeah. So I'm really excited to see this. So keep an eye out for October 6th. We'll definitely report on this.
Yeah, for sure.
And we'll tell you.
And we've been waiting for news on Gotham Knights.
Yeah.
So you know, it was just a matter of time, and I guess they're probably pretty close to getting it done. So that's why.
Yes, I'm pumped for that, man. So
for sure.
So yeah, that's your quick shots for the weeks, folks.
Okay, that's what's up for the quick shots.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead.
I love you, me.